The battlefield stretched as far as the eye could see. Smoke rose from the shattered remains of buildings. The ground was scarred with deep craters. The alien forces known as the Vakari had been fighting for decades. Their technology was unmatched. Their brutality was feared across the galaxy. They had conquered countless worlds. They believed this one would fall as easily as the others. The humans had stayed out of the conflict for years. Their homeworld was far from the war's front lines. They watched as other species fell one by one. They debated endlessly about whether to intervene. Some argued that humanity should protect its own. Others believed that they had a moral obligation to help. The debate raged on until the Vakari made a fatal mistake. They attacked a human colony on the outskirts of the galaxy. Thousands of civilians were killed in the assault. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer safe. The response was immediate. The leaders of Earth united in a way that had not been seen in centuries. Resources were pooled. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock. Factories churned out advanced weapons and armor. Soldiers trained day and night. Humanity was preparing for a war they could not afford to lose. The Vakari had underestimated them. They believed humans were weak. They would soon learn otherwise. The first wave of human ships arrived in orbit above the contested planet. The Vakari forces detected them immediately. They laughed at the size of the fleet. They believed it would be an easy victory. They were wrong. The human ships were equipped with cutting-edge technology, shields capable of withstanding direct hits, weapons that could pierce Vakari armor, AI systems that calculated every move with precision. The humans had learned from watching the war. They had adapted. They had evolved. The battle began at sunrise. The Vakari unleashed their full arsenal: missiles, plasma cannons, swarms of attack drones. The human fleet held its ground. They moved. With surgical precision, each shot hit its mark. Vakari ships exploded one by one. The humans pressed their advantage. Their ground forces deployed to the planet's surface. Armored vehicles rolled across the terrain. Soldiers in exosuits advanced with unyielding determination. The Vakari had never faced an enemy like this. The turning point came within the first 2 hours. The humans deployed their secret weapon, a massive orbital cannon known as the Titan Lance. It fired a concentrated beam of energy that cut through Vakari defenses like paper. Entire battalions were wiped out in seconds. The Vakari panicked. Their command structure began to crumble. Desperation set in. They threw everything they had at the humans. It was not enough. On the ground, the Vakari fought fiercely. Their warriors were genetically engineered for combat. They were stronger and faster than any human. But they were not invincible. Human soldiers fought with a tenacity born of necessity. They used strategy and teamwork to outmaneuver their foes. They exploited every weakness. The Vakari began to fall back. Their once unbreakable lines were shattered. The Vakari commander attempted to regroup. He called for reinforcements from nearby systems. The humans intercepted the transmission. They jammed Vakari communications. Reinforcements never arrived. The Vakari were isolated, cut off from their supply lines. Their defeat was inevitable. By the 4th hour, the Vakari had lost control of the battlefield. Human forces advanced on all fronts. Their war machines crushed Vakari fortifications. Their soldiers secured key objectives. The Vakari retreated to their last stronghold, a massive fortress located in the heart of the city. It was heavily fortified, but the humans had a plan. The Titan Lance targeted the fortress. It fired a series of precise shots. The walls crumbled. Human forces stormed the stronghold. The final battle was brutal. The Vakari fought to the last, but the humans would not be denied. By the 5th hour, the fortress was in ruins. The Vakari commander was captured. His forces were defeated. The war was over. The victory sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Species that had lived in fear of the Vakari saw hope for the first time. Alliances were formed. The Vakari Empire began to collapse. Humanity had proven itself as a force to be reckoned with. They were no longer bystanders. They were leaders. In the aftermath of the battle, humanity faced new challenges. They had won the war, but they had also gained the attention of the galaxy. Some saw them as saviors. Others saw them as a threat. Humanity prepared for whatever came next. They had learned a valuable lesson. Peace is fragile. Strength is necessary. Unity is essential. The battlefield was silent now. The smoke had cleared. The scars remained. But so did the hope. Humanity had changed the course of history. They had done what no one else could. They had won. And they had done it in just 5 hours. The Vakari. Prisoners were escorted to high-security facilities. Interrogations began almost immediately. Humanity needed to understand the enemy fully, their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. The information gleaned would be vital. It would ensure that humanity was prepared for future threats. The Vakari commander, once a symbol of fear, now sat defeated. His arrogance had been his undoing. He refused to speak at first, but the humans were patient. They knew he would break. Eventually, the allied species that had suffered under the Vakari sought to rebuild. They reached out to humanity for guidance, for aid. The humans provided resources and expertise. They helped establish defense systems. They shared their technological advancements. In doing so, they forged alliances that would shape the future of the galaxy. Trust was not easily won, but humanity's actions spoke louder than words. They had fought not for conquest, but for survival and justice. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted. News of the victory spread like wildfire. Streets were filled with jubilant crowds. Flags waved high. People embraced one another. The sense of unity was palpable. Yet amidst the joy, there was also reflection. The cost of war was heavy. Lives had been lost. Families had been torn apart. The scars of battle ran deep. Humanity vowed never to forget the sacrifices made. The scientific community continued to innovate. The war had spurred advancements that once seemed impossible. Medical breakthroughs saved countless lives. New energy sources promised a sustainable future. Space exploration reached new heights. Humanity was no longer confined to its solar system. They had become a galactic power. But they understood the responsibility that came with it. They pledged to use their influence wisely. The Vakari remnants posed a lingering threat. Small factions refused to surrender. They launched sporadic attacks on allied territories. Humanity and its allies responded swiftly. They hunted down these insurgents. They dismantled their operations. The message was clear. The galaxy would not tolerate tyranny. The Vakari's time had passed. As years went by, the memory of the war remained. It was taught in schools, documented in museums. Memorials were erected to honor the fallen. The phrase, 5 hours to triumph, became a symbol of resilience. It reminded humanity of what they could achieve when united. It inspired future generations to strive for greatness. The galaxy entered a new era, one of collaboration and progress. Disputes still arose, conflicts still flared, but the lessons of the past guided the present. Humanity played a central role in maintaining peace. They were mediators, innovators, defenders. Their influence was undeniable. On the anniversary of the victory, leaders from across the galaxy gathered. They stood on the very battlefield where humanity had triumphed. Speeches were made. Vows were renewed. The stars above served as a reminder of how far they had come. They had faced the darkness together. They had emerged stronger. The future was theirs to shape. The Vakari commander lived out his days in captivity. He witnessed the rise of the Alliance. He saw the worlds he once sought to conquer thrive, In his final moments, he expressed regret for his actions, for his arrogance. He realized too late that strength without purpose is meaningless. His legacy was one of failure. Humanity's legacy was one of hope. As the years turned into decades, the war became a distant memory. Humanity continued to push boundaries. They explored uncharted regions of space. They encountered new species. They faced new challenges. But they were ready. They had proven that they could overcome anything. They had forged their destiny. And they did it together. The battlefield that had once been a place of destruction became a place of peace. Nature began to reclaim the land. Trees grew where craters once scarred the earth. Rivers flowed where trenches had been dug. It stood as a testament to the resilience of life, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is always a chance for renewal. The story of humanity's triumph was passed down through generations. It became a legend, a beacon of inspiration. It showed that even against the greatest odds, victory is possible. All it takes is courage, determination, unity, and the will to fight for what is right. And so the galaxy moved forward, guided by the lessons of the past, united by a shared vision of the future. Humanity stood at its center, a force for good, a symbol of hope. They had faced the unimaginable. They had prevailed, and they would continue to do so, no matter what lay ahead.